Welcome to the In-Season Podcast, rated R for language.
None of us are doctors or neurologists. The things you're about to hear are opinions of people living with epilepsy or seizures. These are firsthand experiences. Epilepsy can cause speech problems, and the medications are hard to pronounce. So please bear with me.
Epilepsy can cause bad memory, so some stories will be repeated. I'm Pookie. Get ready. How many of you guys don't have a real reason for your epilepsy? All my EEGs, CT scans, and MRIs come out normal. Yet, 10 years later, I'm still having seizures. I've met with a few epileptic people at support groups, but most of them have a reason why they're seizing. Just wondering if there's more people out there in the same boat as me.
Oh, yeah. That's the most frustrating part about this.
Yep. There's a whole bunch. I don't even care, like, why I have seizures anymore. I just live with it. I know I have seizures, you know?
And
Yeah.
it gets old really fast hearing everybody else's theories over and over and over. Yes, I was on Depo, but it's not the root of all evil. Please. Don't want to hear that ever again.
Do you know that the meningioma that they took out of me, it was from the Depo-Provera shot?
Are you part of the class action?
No, because I got it in Mexico.
Ah. Yeah, that could probably disqualify you.
Wait, Twisted, did you stop yourself from speaking Spanish? You said you was about to say Mexico?
Yes.
I speak Spanish, just a little, if you ever want to go that route, but yeah.
So,
I have aphasia.
Now, was the meningioma, I understand that was the result of the Depo. Did that account for any of your seizures?
It was a result for the seizures.
Okay. Well,
what's
at least
aphasia?
that theory is not totally dead.
Oh, Pookie, aphasia is when you can't speak.
Difficulties.
Difficulty, yes.
Because isn't it also like just processing it too is part of it, and then that's part of it, right?
Okay, yes.
I'm just making sure because I don't just adjust accordingly, that's all.
It says communication disorder. Aphasia is a communication disorder that results from brain damage to the areas of the brain responsible for language, often due to a stroke or traumatic brain injury. It affects a person's ability to speak, write, and understand both spoken and written language. Aphasia can occur suddenly, as is not a reflection of a person's intelligence. Rather, it impairs language, expression, and comprehension. Treatment typically involves speech and language therapy to help individuals regain their communication skills.
Is it just as much of an issue in Spanish or English, like mother language affected just as much? No. Yeah, that would be
What
frustrating.
was the word?
Aphasia.
I feel like that could also be something that people with autism could struggle with, is understanding.
I think if it's a result of autism, they call it something different. Don't they just slap that
Probably,
nonverbal
but
label on it?
yeah, they say like nonverbal and stuff, but really I think it's just a matter of teaching.
Comprehension.
I mean, there's different forms, of course. Like some people go nonverbal on purpose, and as a way of coping, or as that's how their brain works. They get overwhelmed, they go nonverbal, or they don't want to, usually don't talk about things that they don't know much about, or they talk about things that they go on about things that they know a lot about. Now it's different for everyone who's autistic, and there's different levels, I guess, to um, whether you're more high functioning or whether you need more assistance in your life. Um, but I think that if people were to take a step back and, and I think we're doing better now in this generation of doing speech therapy and stuff like
Starting it
that
earlier.
for kids. Yeah, like my friend with her 2-year-old, I helped her get. The doctors were kind of gaslighting her, but I told her, like, your daughter is presenting everything that I presented as a child, so I would fight for her, and she did, and now they're on the right track and getting her speech therapy, and she's doing really well. But I think that not necessarily if it's sometimes it feels like as somebody with autism, everyone else is speaking in a different language, and I just don't understand it. I mean, I understand it, but I don't get it. It doesn't, the words don't fit together and they don't come together in my mind completely. But I guess it would be called a different thing. I'm not sure, but I just find that it would kind of relate to that in a sense of like teaching how to understand the other party. Wherein like if you were speaking a different language, you would do the same. You would work on understanding the other party's language, and I think it kind of sets a like a like a setting. It correlates in a way of how we can understand people with autism better. But that's just a separate ramble.
Um, before you go, Mark. Oh, I seen something here about autism, but that was the question before you got here. I didn't know you had autism, but I'll go through that after Mark talks because we talked about it and we knew nothing about it because we didn't have it, so we just went through the comics.
Yeah, I wanted to tack on with Lufa that I think in the case of autism, it could also be an issue with executive function. Um, the I assume that the word is still the same, like the definition and stuff. It might be a symptom, but something about autism that is um, massively misunderstood is the spectrum part of the definition, and I just wanted to help clarify that the when psychiatrists use the word spectrum disorder, what they're
The
meaning is
DSM,
a group, huh?
the DSM spectrum and stuff, the DSM.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
When psychiatrists use the word spectrum disorder, what they're referring to is a collection of symptoms, basically that um,
Because it
seem
presents
to kind of correlate together.
differently.
There's a statistical link between these, and these symptoms are not universal, but it's not um, like 0 to 100, and everybody's on the spectrum. It's not like the
Hmm.
color spectrum or anything or frequency. Um, it's these
There's
symptoms
still
that
like a
are
wall
kind
of,
of clustered together
yeah.
and kind of appear together, and they don't
I
really know why, but
actually,
each one can kind of have its own spectrum, more like that
yeah.
0 to 100. So like not everybody has
Well, like
the
there's bipolar 1 and
difficulty with eye
bipolar 2.
contact to the same degree, but some people just can't can't make eye contact, can't lock it at all. Some people are entirely nonverbal. Some people just cannot help themselves, you know. Um, um,
And
sorry, what?
I was, well, like the other day, because I've been seeing a lot of these, like, there's credible sources online that you can take, like an at-home autism test if you're genuinely curious if your child might be on the spectrum, or if you might be on the spectrum or have ADHD. There are credible sources. That doesn't give you a definite diagnoses, because it's not a definite diagnosis until it's diagnosed by a health professional and the proper care team and whatnot. But it's not accessible to everyone, so I understand why people may use online tests sometimes. But I had a friend of mine who I think may have taken one of those online tests, because I've seen it become like a trend where people take it and then they use it so that they can use different language and verbiage and whatnot, that typically only the autism community would use, or just like the R word, or they use it to take advantage of bullying you more for having autism. And a friend of mine said that in the 30 minutes of research that he's done, uh, everyone's kind of on the spectrum. And I was like, that's not true. Everyone has their unique things and their own little, you know, funny parts of them. And he's like, well, when everyone's at home, they act weird and stuff. And I was like, well, because they're in the comfort of their own home, they're in their safe space. They can be themselves and let free and let loose all the emotions that they need. Whereas people with autism don't have that. That's not how it is for us. It's very different for us. That's a very horrible comparison that you just made. And saying that everyone is autistic is a huge problem, because
It's not true.
it's not true. It's just a fact, and you would think that. And someone got upset with me for saying that, or saying that I was gatekeeping autism. And they just were misunderstanding what I was saying, but I don't even know how you gatekeep autism. And that's a weird thing to do. But um, they were almost on the side of everyone's a little autistic, and that's very harmful to people with autism. And that's, not everyone has Down syndrome. Not everyone has.
Well, it's a good thing. You can rest assured that will never be an accepted form, an accepted opinion or perspective or viewpoint,
It's
whatever.
just it is though. Some people
that'll
do
never take
really accept that viewpoint and do really think that everyone is a little bit autistic, and it kind of feels unfortunate, because I know why they're saying that. They're saying that because under the pretense of we're weird. That's how they're viewing it.
Let's just agree that a lot of people suck. What's up, Courtney?
I was just agreeing with Lufa. I hate that so much. I think the truth is that it's a very small percentage of neurotypical people. I think that it's more so that everybody's different. And to assume that there's something beyond, like she said, like I think Mark mentioned the DSM, is because everybody has different needs, everybody has different things they need to achieve what they necessary in life, and the self-diagnosing autism drives me so crazy. So like I said, I think it's really more so what is neurotypical.
Yeah, and advocate for yourself if you do think you have, like, really, that's what my mom and I had. They tried to diagnose me with bipolar when I was 2
No, what the fuck?
and put me on medication. I was just had sensory overload. I didn't when I walked into preschool, I had to have glasses on. My mom either had to back me in or I had to come in before all the other students because I didn't like them staring at me. I needed all the tags in my clothes cut out. I can't have any other mac and cheese other than Kraft. Um, I'm very particular about my foods. I don't like the sound of chewing, eating, gulping, any of that. It drives me nuts to the point where I start bashing my head and my ears. And then for people to say everyone's autistic a little bit, but I can't eat dinner and bond over food like other cultures and families do, and then I'm judged for that. I'm told that I'm being disrespectful and I should eat with the rest of everyone else when it's triggering for me.
Yeah.
But then you sit there and say it doesn't correlate. It doesn't make sense. There's still a boundary. There's still, there are these, yeah, sure, everyone's weird. But just because people have their quirks doesn't make them autistic. There are things that you know qualify you as autistic. I can't really think of the words, but it's not gatekeeping. It's more of just an extremely misunderstood concept that doesn't have to be as misunderstood as it is, because I think sometimes people with neurotypical brains almost want to be autistic sometimes and pick and choose, just like I'm sure the same thing with race. People want to pick their race when it works best for them, and or their religion when it works best for them. It's things like that. They use it to their advantage, and it ends up harming the people that actually deal with those things on a daily basis and live on a daily basis the way that they are. And then to have people pick and choose when they want to be that way is insulting. It's extremely insulting.
And it minimizes your needs, right? It
Mm-hmm.
minimizes your unique needs. And I
Mm-hmm.
think a huge issue with that, unfortunately, is the influence of social media. No fucking way somebody was saying gatekeep autism. And then that really makes me mad about what they were trying to prescribe you at 2. You're still developing your personality. Like, you
I
just,
mean, it was 2004, so I guess it was a little bit of a different time, but
what area,
honestly,
what state are you in?
no, I was in New Jersey at the time, but now I'm in Illinois, and I got diagnosed at 12 with Asperger's and then diagnosed at 17 with autism. So, um, it was like, but I was misdiagnosed many times with different things, and finally I have my diagnoses in order, and uh, I have my first therapy appointment coming up this Saturday. Yay!
And Lufa, thanks for mentioning advocating for yourself. That's such a huge thing that I even
Yeah,
like. Thank you for that reminder.
that's the best thing you can do. There's no one else that'll advocate for you. Asperger's is like the higher functioning version of autism, but now they've kind of uh, dispersed the name Asperger's. They stopped using it. So then now it's just different like levels of autism, like level 1, level 2, level 3, and it just depends on what your needs are. Like Mark said, some people are nonverbal, so obviously they would probably need a little more assistance within their daily living. Um, some people are easily manipulated and uh, and whatnot. But there are a lot of people with autism, a lot of controversial people with autism, a lot of non controversial people with autism, but I mean, the girl that played in what is it called? The Last of Us. She has autism. And then Elon Musk has autism. So those are, a little more controversial person and a less controversial person so that we get an idea.
So here's a question everybody can have an answer to. What is something that you won't let your epilepsy stop you from doing? Goal, essentially.
Swimming.
Nice.
Someone asked me if I was a triathlete today. And I was like,
Oh,
what?
okay, that's a compliment.
Yeah, I was like, cool. Do you not see the epilepsy everywhere written on me? But yes, thank you. No.
Nobody's ever going to see epilepsy written on you, that's for sure. All right, we'll start from the top. What about you, Angel? What's something that you will never let your epilepsy stop you from doing?
Being a good dad.
Right on. Courtney?
I don't know because I have the opposite issue where I do the most and then I trigger a seizure. So let me think on that.
Kevin?
Kevin, you're muted.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. Get my goals straight. Uh, Stop me doing that. I'm just gonna join a good sports league this summer. See what goes on with that. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
should try
Do
out
they
for
play all kinds of different
pickleball.
sports? Oh, okay.
Pickleball's so lame. No, I hate that. Uh, Play real tennis, not like in between table tennis and real tennis. That's what you get when you get a pickleball. It's like the love child of ping pong and tennis. Can't stand.
Gosh, that's what I said. I was like, this is a crossover of ping pong and tennis.
Right.
That's literally what it is. And it's, dare I say, a middle-aged woman's sport, but my cousins rep it, so let me not say no more.
Yes, and I laugh at those who play it. No
You are
offense.
laughing at my family, and that is completely okay.
I'm sorry.
I giggle too.
Yeah,
And
okay.
they expect me to take the game seriously, and I don't. So, I'm there. I'm right there with you, Kevin.
Okay.
Anything that brings you
I,
joy.
I did not mean to offend you there, but it
No,
was.
I'm not offended. I am not offended. My mom bought a pickleball shirt from Kohl's. Yeah, let that sink in.
What does a pickleball shirt look like? What do you mean? Like the polo?
No, I don't even. It's just a shirt that says pickleball for $35. And I'm like, all right, whatever makes you happy, Mom. I love you. I love you so much. Maybe not the pickleball. I wrote on my list of triggers for my epilepsy and my epilepsy notebook that pickleball is one of them, but just because of the correlation and shit that it takes. And when my mom saw that, she was like, pickleball? Really? And I was like, I mean, I can play it, but it triggers my mild. The pickleball? I thought you liked the pickleball. No, I just do it for you guys. I do a lot more for you guys than you actually really think. There's so much that I do not want to do, but bless you.
All right,
Okay.
Jeff, well, you got a good connection. What is your answer to that question? What is something that you won't let your epilepsy stop you from doing?
I guess two things. It won't stop me from living the fullest I can, and it won't stop me from loving my wife as much as I do when I first fell in love with her, or more.
There you go. I was thinking
I-
traveling internationally.
I have to just one other thing, Kevin. When you get older, you may appreciate pickleball. It's great for older people. I don't play, but my wife plays both tennis and pickleball, and she loves pickleball.
Can that just go back to my middle-aged woman sport that I said originally? Who's throwing up? Tony. Sorry.
I'll keep that in mind, Jeff.
Yeah, it's
That just backed
I
up everything. Thank you, Jeff.
I wouldn't have played when I was younger either. I played tennis, but now you don't have to move as much,
mm,
and that's a good thing for somebody that's older.
yeah,
That's all.
yeah.
Seems like a simple sport. Like someone doesn't have to run too much to play it. So, but
Angela Mold.
I did not know you had autism, Lufa. Before you got here, that's what our first question was about, is giving perspective to someone. But we could give no perspective, so we just read comments. But I'll read it to you because you could give this person perspective. It says, I just found out about 30% of people with epilepsy have autism and vice versa. I have long suspected I'm on the spectrum. I just want to get some perspective.
Oh, I think I saw that post. I think I commented on it. I don't even know. I don't remember. People with autism typically have a lot of different other problems. Like I have the multiple whatever, I can dislocate the EDS, so I can move around all crazy, but as I get older it hurts. I don't know if my autism is connected to my epilepsy, would I say? Yeah, I think maybe it's just something that's linked because, it's the neurons or whatever, and neural pathways are formed, and if neural pathways are formed in a not so great way, that can cause problems as you're growing up. And I think being autistic and that happening for me caused some problems. But I think that was more just mentally, like my BPD, my borderline personality disorder, and things like that. But I wouldn't be like, just because you have epilepsy, I wouldn't say you have autism. And just because you have autism, I wouldn't say you have epilepsy. But if you're having like myoclonic jerks or seizures, and you have autism or not, I would just get that checked out either way. But honestly, from one autism to the other autism, I really don't think it's that big of a deal. Like the overstimulation definitely gets to me, and my epilepsy a lot quicker. But that's just how it is because I get overstimulated. That's just how it is. But I don't think that it really. I guess there's other studies that we could be doing, I guess I would say. Yeah, it's not, there's not really much insight to give there. It's autism's linked to a lot of things. Someone said that autism's linked to the original humans, like cavemen. Forgot what they're called. The nomads, Mark. I feel like Mark knows what it might be called. Nomads,
Neanderthal?
Yes. Someone, I saw a post about that the other day. I keep seeing posts, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
You're
But
referring to Neanderthals, which were
yes,
a rival of Homo sapien.
yes. Someone said that autistic people are linked to Neanderthals, and I just kept on scrolling because I don't really know.
That person needs to be punched.
I don't really know what to say about that.
Actually, they were both very advanced. Neanderthals were very advanced. They were more advanced than Homo sapiens when they started out. There was more of them, and
Yeah, larger
they,
brain
well,
size.
they were almost
yes,
comparing it as yes, so they were comparing it as if neurotypical people were Homo sapiens and neurodivergent people are Neanderthals. But I have to clean up my cat's vomit, so I'll be right back.
Okay,
Well,
so
there are certain genes that have been found to have a statistical link to autism diagnoses, and there are certain genes that have been identified in the human genome that were also present in Neanderthal DNA. And if one of those genes from the Neanderthal DNA is one of those genes that's found to have a correlation with autism, then it's entirely possible. I don't think that person should be punched in the face at all. There has been about, or I forget where it was, but there's about a 20 to 30% of autistic people are found to eventually have an epilepsy diagnosis as well. So there definitely is a link um, to epilepsy between the two, autism and epilepsy, neurodivergence maybe, weird wiring. Maybe we should come up with a better word, something that doesn't have stigma or something that, for epileptic autistic people, we need our own fancy sciencey word, something. But yeah, it's interesting. The prevalence of epilepsy among autistic people is somewhere around 20 to 30 times higher than it is among the overall population. So a lot of research needs to be done, but it's a very fascinating question.
I've always wondered about uh, uh, most of the ailments in the physical body, the modern body. That would be like 10,000 years ago when civilization began. And we started eating different foods and processed things. And especially recently when the skills changed for human beings. We became more social, especially more social. I mean, so would humans, I don't know, 50,000 years ago, an autistic human perhaps not be considered, I mean, they wouldn't require these uh, social skills uh, that we need today. Like a person, uh, once again, I'm not an expert on autism, but say uh, since our biology has not changed very much in the past 10,000 years, um, our mental and social or all these skills just changed one day, and now we're dealing in offices and everything. Would Could that attribute to um, what might look like a disability for an autistic person? Because it's society's the problem, I think. Yeah. Does anyone even remotely understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of get what you're saying, but I think well, okay, it's like how much of what is like a neurodivergent disability these days just would not even stick out 15,000 years ago in a hunter-gatherer society.
I have ADHD.
What are we talking? Are we still on the same subject?
Hey, Twisted never got to answer that question about what your one of your life goals or something that you're not going to let epilepsy stop you from doing.
Going on vacation.
Yes, I'm with you on that travel one. Did you ever have an implant or anything in your brain?
No.
Okay. Yeah. See, I'd still have to figure out how to get through whatever it's called, that security part.
There's a
If
bomb
we
in
go
your
flying.
brain. If I was accompanying you, I'd be like, she's got a bomb in her brain. She's with
Hey,
secret
it's-
intelligence from a different country.
Well, doing all
But you
this
don't
traveling
have
that
to
we have
take
for the
your
last
shoes
couple
off
days with the
anymore.
dog is perfect. Well, I'm going to have to avoid the metal detector. That's the thing. So I'm sure it'll end up just being a wand or something, but whatever. We'll have to deal
Well,
with
just
it.
make sure you're not with anyone that makes any out of proportion jokes, because I would definitely get you seated in the back questioned.
Yeah, that's funny. No, that I'm going to be with my son, and he's probably going to try to beat the
I
shit
Yeah,
out of
don't let
everybody
your
that comes near
son make
mommy.
any jokes, because I'm the type that would make jokes about myself having something in my head, and then when they go through everything just for it to be an epilepsy implant, and then for me to be like, oh, I fooled you.
He's really protective about anybody that gets close to mommy. So we'll probably just have to, I don't know, practice or just tell him what to be
He's
aware
like
for.
your what are they called? They stand at the front door. Bodyguard.
I think he might just be trying to find an excuse to get away with it. Because I said R, I said it was cute one time, and now he's taking it to the next level. Getting a wristband today at the trampoline place. He was like side eyeing the guy behind the counter. It was cute. But now, for the most part, traveling with the service dog has been a big bonus because nobody wants to come around. Once she has her vest on, I mean, yeah, the Amish were kind of judgy, but in the rest of the state or
Okay, but the
country that we've
Amish
been in so
don't
far.
know. The Amish truly don't know.
Yeah. So other than that, though, that's the only social or public access setting that was
I
not
think if
receptive.
you were able to explain it to the Amish, they would accept it. They seem like pretty chill people. The only
I
people
just needed to get through the line,
yeah.
and I
Sometimes
think that was like a big no to break their line.
yeah, they probably just didn't understand. But the Amish, from what I've seen and experienced in Jersey, they've been pretty understanding of things.
Well, it probably didn't help that I said "excuse me" in English and then in Spanish, and
Probably not.
yeah, that they probably got offended at that.
Yeah, probably.
But
How
it's
dare
cool. We
you?
got to where we were going,
How dare you not ride in horse and carriage?
right?
Where's the bonnet?
I had something, but I forgot what it was, so I'll move forward. Okay, got one. I think I asked it before, but not with this crowd. It says, do you ever worry about intellectual decline? Since I've been having investigations for surgery, I picked up a few times that uncontrolled seizures can eventually cause intellectual decline. Does that scare you? I'm worried that one day I just won't be me anymore. I'm scared that if this surgery doesn't work, then all is lost. There was there was one question in there. Does that scare you? And do I worry about intellectual decline? It's crossed my mind. Worried? No. But it's crossed my mind.
I think what scares me is people taking advantage of if I do have memory issues, which I do. That's what I'm scared of, is people taking advantage of that. And even I mean, I have had an intellectual decline since the ECT, but that's different. Ish. But yesterday I was trying to figure a bunch of things out for getting myself set up and whatnot. And I couldn't find my debit card, and I knew I left it downstairs. I knew it was downstairs the last time I had it, or the only other place it could be is in my wallet or in my mom's wallet. There's only 3 places it could be. And I was like, okay, before I freak out, let me ask my mom because, whatever. And we just reset my username and password because I forgot it, and I forgot it again. And now I have to write down every username and password, and dementia and Alzheimer's already runs in my family, so I'm already screwed. I already know my fate, but it's okay. But I texted my mom and I was like, "Hey, like, do you know where my debit card is?" And she was like, "I haven't seen it, but I know it's not with me." And then I started to freak out because I started like crying. I was like, there's no way that I could lose my mind this much, like that I lose my debit card now, that all my stuff is like, how did I lose my debit card? It's nowhere in the house. I can't find it at all. How, like, I'm losing my mind, and it just completely threw me over the edge. And then my mom came home and said she had it the entire time, so I tore up my room for nothing. But it is something that scares me because I find that I either react very heavily to if I feel like someone's taken advantage of it, even if they haven't, or I I just automatically don't trust anyone because I believe that they're going to use which people have in the past, use my epilepsy to their advantage, and it's very unsettling. So I would say yes.
Yeah, that thing with the taking advantage of your memory. Who I've been going through that for years.
Yeah.
I've been told that I don't remember things, and I'd be like, I remember this, and they try to change the story, and I'm like, no, I remember this. You're trying to tell me I've been told literally, how do you remember that and you don't remember this? And I was just like, some things stick with you. And yeah, like I said, I've been told that I don't remember this and you didn't do this and do this just because they didn't see it and they don't remember it. They think I shouldn't remember something that they did not see. And they'll ask me, how do you remember this, but you don't remember this? This is
Yeah,
more important than this.
they use the memory to gaslight, and usually people that wouldn't gaslight you because you were normal before, now are gaslighting you, and it's like, oh, okay, so I was right the entire time, and now you're being even worse by using something of a disability to made to your advantage. That makes you look like an asshole. But hey, go keep volunteering and all your BS, whatever.
Yeah,
The intellectual decline. Anybody else on the intellectual decline topic?
I'm afraid of the dementia and Alzheimer's. Before, I was the only person in my family with any neurological disease, but um my grandma, she died a few years ago, but she had dementia. So now I'm definitely like afraid of that. And it's it, it it's a big fear that I always had as growing up with epilepsy, but I try not to let it worry me, and I try to just like live each day because you never know.
Seize the day.
Yeah, one question I always ask is, well, I asked it a few times, so I'm not gonna say always ask. Um, do you guys ever think like I know my memory is bad. It's fucking horrible. My short term. Um, but I want to ask the question like, do you ever think that your memory is just like gonna get so bad to where it plateaus, or do you think shit's just gonna get worse and worse? I feel like my memory has got to the worst it's gonna get, and my retaining has got as worse as it can get. It doesn't seem like it's getting any worse. It just seems like it's already shit. And yeah, you guys feel like your memory gets to a
Well,
plateau, or is it progressively just getting worse?
I want to
think
hear,
Mine
how
is
does Courtney think it's going to be a benefit?
Huh?
Yeah, Courtney mentioned that intellectual decline may be freedom.
For me, I'm an anxious overthinker. I need to cut that shit off sometimes, and it's hard for me to do so. Of course, I'm in therapy and things like that, but I'm always trying to solve the problem that may not need to be solved, and that's where a lot of source of my seizures come from. My seizures come from stress. My seizure that I was seizure free from 10 months was because my little cousin who's autistic, her mom decided to slap her, and I was the only person who did some shit about it. I reported my own aunt to CPS because none of the other elders in my family did anything. That's my life. I'm a parentified child. I've had to be the adult since I was a child. That's all I know.
So do you
So
think the intellectual decline might actually just kind of come back to bite you, making you feel like you don't have the resources?
I
You know, you
think
have this problem that still needs solved, but you just can't remember how to fix it or something?
I think it might be that, but I also think it will stop me from thinking so much in some ways. Yeah. It just depends
Okay.
on how it plays out. Um, like I said, I'm always the constant problem solver, and I'm the youngest of the siblings. I was the only girl. So it's just awkward in that kind of way. Like I said, nobody takes charge. Like, I don't want to say charge, but when there's something that needs to be really actionable, and usually in my family, that's why even now, like when it comes to my family, I'm like pretty much going under the wing of boyfriend's family because they're such an opposite experience. But yeah, like I'm protective of like one of the youngest person in my family. Like nobody did anything when they found that out. And this is my dad's sister, and I called him first. But like I said, it's just a strange thing to always witness and always want to do something if something needs to be done. That's why I'm always making that joke in here. I'm the annoying science girl because that's pretty much who I am overall. I keep all this information, I store all this information, and I just don't want it to be up there hanging out, I guess you can say.
So back to the question that I honestly forgot. So if any of you guys remember, you can answer. What was it?
about memory.
Oh yeah, like with your memory, do you guys think it's like plateaued and got as worse as it's gonna get, or do you guys think your memory is just gonna get like progressively worse? Mine's, I feel like my short term is just over. That's what I feel like because I can remember things younger as a kid and all that stuff.
I have no short-term memory,
Yeah, mine is
and
gone.
and my
I've
long-term memory is
um,
going as well. And I guess that's kind of natural. As you get older, you lose some of your memory, and I'm losing it, from that and from the epilepsy. And what Lufa said about her debit card, I go through that with my phone all day long. Uh, I never know where my phone is.
yeah, I
And
put things down and I look in one place and it's not there, and then I go back to that same place and it's there, and I'm like, how did it? What? What? It doesn't make any sense, and I just had it, and every day it's with so many things, whether it's my weed or my phone or I left my glasses at my friend's house, which I specifically went in with the intention of do not leave your glasses here, Olivia. Make sure you bring your glasses home. I kept saying that. And then I get home and I text her. I'm like, did I leave my glasses there? She's like, oh yeah, girl, I got them safe for you. Don't worry. And I'm like, how did I remind myself not to leave them? And I left them. It's almost like if I remind myself so much, I'm bound to forget. But I think part of it too is the electroconvulsive therapy leaves short-term memory loss for a lot of patients, forever. So I think
So now you
that,
have to get a lanyard.
yeah, I think that I'm just screwed. I also have dementia and Alzheimer's in my family, so I'm just in for it. I'm just going with the flow. I'm just seeing what happens in life, and whatever goes goes, because I'm not worried about that because I already know
You're
I'm
just going
susceptible
to it
to
while
it.
you can.
When you
What's up,
said
Tristan?
that, it reminded me like how you said you went in there with the intentions of like telling yourself, don't forget your glasses. That reminded me of this time, like I was on the bus and I kept telling myself, I am not feeling good. And I was like, okay, I got one stop left. And I'm like, focus, focus, focus. I got one stop left. I had a focal and I missed that stop. And I was sitting there telling myself the whole time, focus, it's one more stop. So what I'm assuming is since I pulled the thing, he stopped. Maybe nobody got off. And when I came to, I was a stop pass. So I just kind of laughed it off and got off and turned my 10-minute walk into a 16-minute walk. And yeah. But yeah, that's what that reminded me of. And you're like, don't forget your glasses. Don't forget your glasses. I kept telling myself, you're not feeling good. Pay attention. Stop is coming. The stop is coming. And I couldn't make it right past
Yeah, I
I
think
set
my
reminders on
memory's
my phone
going.
for appointments,
it.
and then I forget. After the reminder goes off, I forget.
Who said you had your hand up? What's up?
I forgot what I was gonna say.
I knew it. I think it was
There
something
goes
about
the
the
answer
memory
to
too. Something about the short term versus long term memory.
Oh,
I don't
I
know.
think
For me,
if we're
yeah, go ahead.
worried about our long-term memory and short-term memory going, or like if it'll go faster.
Honestly, I always thought it was a bigger deal to have lost so much long term memory because there's so much of my past that people that hate me are trying to tell me who I was and what decisions I made, and I
I mean, there's
obviously can't
some
believe them.
long-term
So
things that I
that's
don't remember.
I still think that long term is always going to be more important than the short term, but that's probably because that's what I can't get back.
Yeah,
The short term, I found ways to adapt.
I got
yeah.
my
I
long
mean,
term. My short term is over. Um, I can sit there sometimes and I'm like, what is it? What is it? Was it? Then I'm trying to think back on what was I doing before that. But other than that, long term, I can remember places I've been, phone numbers when I was a kid. I remember my grandmother's phone number, and I don't know why.
yeah, I remember the original phone number that we had back in New Jersey, and I have no idea why. It means, it's just like the most random things I remember. And
Yeah,
then people are like, how can you remember that, but not this? Girl, if I knew, I would tell you, but I don't know, and I don't
right.
remember. So you take a minute in my body, and then we can come back and talk about this. But
oh,
We
until
don't
then,
know.
shh.
Yeah, we don't know how our brain works. How we going to tell
Doctors
you?
don't know how our brain works. Like, what? There's no, what? Well, and there's also like, I think when it comes to the memory questions, it's a little harder. It's a little, not harder, but different for me, just because of the electroconvulsive therapy. Because I had that done before they diagnosed me with epilepsy, but they knew that there were signs of epilepsy, and I had a seizure that lasted, I'm assuming, over 5 minutes, because when I was going under, they were like, yeah, last time she seized for way too long. So, and I'm literally like going under the second that he's talking about how the last session did not go as planned and how they have to turn down the levels and how my body's starting to react really sensitively to the ECT. And after that session, they also didn't give me regular anesthesia. It was like a benzo form of anesthesia. It's called something, and it made me so sick. We had to stop every 2 seconds on the way home because I kept throwing up. And at that moment, I was like, I'm done. I was like, there's no more ECT. I'm not doing the maintenance sessions anymore. I've been doing this for almost 5 months, then it'll be 6 months, and that's 6 months of my life that I'm like, that is gone. That is literally gone. And then to be shoved in the face with, oh yeah, by the way, you're epileptic and you were right the entire time. And while it says that there's no interactions between people with epilepsy and ECT, I would beg to differ. If you should know if someone's epileptic going into electroconvulsive therapy, because that's exactly what it's doing. It's targeting an area of the brain and sending it into a forced seizure.
I mean, how is that not
So-
on a diagnosis list, like top of the chart kind of thing? No, that reminded me of something though. That's kind of
They
why I
kept
like to
saying it
play
was
dumb in the
psychogenic.
RNS meetings sometimes.
They kept
Because
saying it was psychogenic seizures I was having, and
oh, okay, so PNES was still
Yep,
on the
it was still PNES, and they were like, that has no interactions. And I was like, but I don't think that you shocking my brain is gonna get the seizures to stop, and it didn't. It's only made my memory a million times worse than I think it originally would have been. And it has forever broke my brain. And a lot of
I mean, are you talking
people,
like scarring, or what leads you to believe that's a forever thing?
I just don't have like I'm not me. Like I'm here, but everything is like gone inside of me. Yeah, like numb, but to like a like nothing makes me happy. Nothing is exciting. Everything I used to be interested in isn't interesting. Um,
Yeah, it sounds like how a lot of us feel after the diagnosis in general. A lot of stuff does change.
Yeah,
yeah, but
I lost interest in a lot of things.
it's more like I don't have like when I swim, it's sure it's nice, but I don't feel anything. If something happens to someone, I typically I don't feel anything. I just don't feel anything anymore. Like I'm just like gone. And it's kind of just feels like they zapped out uh me, the bad parts and the good parts. So it's just like I'm completely gone. And
I've
when
been
I was
told,
going through ECT, a lot of people kept saying like it was like I was there, but like there was nothing inside. Like I was soulless. There was just, it wasn't the person that they knew before. And ever since ECT, it's been different, and it's been very life altering. And it could take up to like 2 years to fully recover from it. And I'm only 8 months in, so.
yeah, I've been told that I was, I guess, robotish. They were like, you get kind of quiet and you get kind of careless. And I was just like, that sounds like the usual me. And they were just like, you don't really have emotion towards things. And it was mainly for like people talking at me and not talking to me. And people expect me to blow up or whatever. And when I don't,
Yeah.
they think I'm just emotionless and I don't care about what you're telling me.
I've been
This and
told it
that.
looks like I have the devil in me, and I'm like, I
Oh,
literally
shit.
don't know what to tell you. Like I have no, that made me feel nothing, and I also have no response to that because it don't feel like the devil's in me, but I could see how you could feel like it looks like the devil's in me because I look so blank and uh like lost.
Yeah, I've been told that you're not even paying attention. Look at your face. And I'm
Usually
just
when
like,
I'm told that, I am paying attention to. It's
yeah.
when I'm like, when it looks like I'm paying attention, I'm not paying attention.
All right. I actually got to call this neurologist real quick because I got to call him and get an appointment before too late. But I got something we can go into before that. It says, how many of you guys don't drink? Just wondering what the title says. I'm curious if not drinking is the default among folks with epilepsy, or is it just a bias because I don't drink? No judgment. I'm just curious. I don't drink. I haven't drank since Easter, and mainly because I started this. I mean, other than that, I didn't really, alcohol didn't bother me. Then I was like, I got to be an example. Nicotine, alcohol, caffeine, cold turkey. Any of you guys? How's your old addictions, if it was an addiction?
I stopped drinking
Mine.
years ago.
Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
I actually I never overdid it, but I love to drink. Uh, when I was younger, I was in a group of wine tasters. Um, we met like once or twice a month, and everybody bought a different bottle. Uh, I used to drink a lot of bourbon or scotch or tequila. And when I had my bypass, the doctor said, you drink again, you're going to die. So I decided not to drink anymore. Go ahead, Angel.
Yeah, I already have liver problems, so that further encouraged me that like I was already not drinking, you know, but our meds, if you read some of the stuff with our meds, it really messes up your liver. Like Depakote, yeah, it's really strong on your liver, and you got to be careful for what you take. Um, but not only that, it lowers your seizure threshold. So yeah, drinking is not advisable.
I don't miss it personally.
Yeah,
At this point, it's been long enough. Don't remember the taste, and yeah, it is what it is. I don't miss it, especially because
yep,
it's way doing way more harm than good. And if it was a social setting, then if those people are legit, they should be able to chill with you without the yeah without the booze.
I
Lithuania?
was gonna say like I'm thankful for the friends that I do have because they'll oftentimes be like, "Oh, we can do a sip and paint," and then they'll automatically be like, "Oh, I mean smoke and paint," like because they'll go to like they'll be like, "Oh, wait, we can just smoke weed or like have an edible or do something like that instead," because they know that I have epilepsy and I have um 2 3 friends that are aware of that and it because they I don't blame them for automatically going to like alcohol because of their age and stuff, but I appreciate that they accommodate and kind of like change it to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, like I meant like this," and so that you don't end up feeling sick or whatever because I I used to drink a lot of Hennessy, like a bottle to myself.
Oh, that
Um
stupid song just came in my head. You know what I'm talking about.
It was bad. It was really bad. And that was back when I was like 18, right after my cat died. So, it was bad. I was drinking like a bottle of Hennessy and I was not sharing it. So in one setting, along with other things. And I recently just had a 1 can of 5% like spritzer alcohol, and halfway through the can I was like,
That
no
actually,
way am I getting through this. And then I was like, I need
okay.
to go to the bathroom, and I threw up, and I was like, yeah, I cannot drink anymore. It interacts with my medications too much. It makes my epilepsy feel awful. Every time I drink, I don't feel like buzzed or fun after. I feel sick. And that's exactly what I'm always trying to not feel, which is why I'm glad that marijuana is an option, even though my family will be like, well, maybe that's why you're throwing up all the time. No, that's not why I'm throwing up all the time. I have cyclic vomiting syndrome. That would mean I've been smoking since I was a child. So let's clear the air there. It can cause that. We can cause that, but that is not the cause for me. It is actually the help for me. But they just, I don't know, something about green leaves to them doesn't, they like aged wine and champagne. You know, they like to be knights. I like to be a wizard.
Lufa,
All
did you
right.
say
How
you
about everybody else?
misplaced your weed earlier?
Yes, I misplace my weed all the time. And then I find it like a week or a month later, and I'm like, oh my God, I have an eighth. Yay. Oh my God, I got some gummies. Or, oh my God, is this a cart? What? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
keep mine right on my dining
Randomly
room
say
table, so I
hello.
can't lose it.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
does anyone just feel like a complete idiot since your epilepsy started? Does anyone just feel like a completely waste of space due to their brain not working anymore? I learned memory controls everything at the end of the day, and since I have none left, I can't accomplish much. I can't work, but can't get disability. I can care for my kids, do the basics, but more than that is just a no. Hell, I can barely form a sentence without having trouble, and no one understands the complication I have every day. Anyone like me? I hope not, but at the same time, I don't want to be in this alone.
Everyone.
Yeah, I get that time to time, and then I just go to my own space and smoke some weed. And
The devil's lettuce. That is why we are the devil. That's why we have the devil in us.
I don't drink anymore ever since Easter, but yeah, Hennessy was the stuff.
Well, because in my head, I was like, I'm drinking to get drunk. And if I just had a bottle of Hennessy, I was set. But I have epilepsy, and the medication, they don't bind well together, and then it's a waste of the medication, a waste of the alcohol, then I feel like shit, and then I'm
How
like,
long after your diagnosis did you actually stop drinking?
um actually I think I started drinking after I left.
Because you
And
never did like pregnancy or any other reason to stop, right?
no,
Yeah,
I've never,
so
I mean, I
I have an appointment with a neurologist.
probably would have became an alcoholic. So because it runs in my sperm donor side of the family, and that's where the addiction part comes from. So I
Sorry to
wait,
thankfully,
interrupt.
so you're saying that comes more from the father's side than the mother's side?
yeah, there's no addiction on my mom's side. There's only addiction on my father's, and like heavy addiction, very heavy addiction. Like,
Oh, but you're not saying for like everybody, you're more likely to be susceptible to an addiction if it run in the father's side?
I don't know if it's more susceptible depending on which side, but I just know that
Oh, okay. No,
genetic.
I thought that was a point you're trying to
No,
make.
no,
That's
no,
all.
no, no, just genetically, like that. The addiction genetic thing comes from my father's side, and I just happened to get that. You could not get it, and you could get it. It's just, it's however your body makeup is, whatever your genetic makeup is, which is why they call it makeup, because everyone's different. But yeah, that's why I could drink a bottle of Hennessy with water as my chaser in 10 minutes and be good. Because I was built for it. until I wasn't. So, but thankfully, I'm a retired Hennessy girl and a retired, oh, I hate the name. It starts with an S. It's Svedka. Ugh. And Fireball. I used to do Fireball. I did a lot of Fireball as well. Little shooters. Take like 7 or 10 of those shooters with a Fireball. I used to be heavy into it. Yeah, but when I got out of what my mom nicknamed it as the high house, because that's pretty much what it was. I stopped drinking and I stopped doing drugs, and I've been clean ever since. And that's when I really started taking my diagnosis seriously and getting the doctors to take me seriously. So, a big point I would like to say is if you're doing drugs and drinking a lot, it's going to be hard for the doctors to take you a little seriously. So if you stop that shit, they'll take you seriously. And sometimes tell them that you don't smoke weed, because they also don't like that sometimes. But, but really stop, don't drink if you're really trying to dive deep and get those diagnoses and get proper treatment. Stop all the thing. And like, I stopped nicotine. I didn't want to at first, but when I realized this is a trigger for my epilepsy and it's making me feel, and my cyclic vomiting syndrome, I cut it out cold turkey. The only thing that has never bothered me is weed. So, me and my little weed babies.
Good to know. That reminds me of that post. Somebody asked a question about the hospitals. What was your favorite hospital? And I found out that, yeah, I'm going through my records over here, just seeing, okay, so I've been to this ER, 3 times in the last, or 5 times in the last 3 years. And so that must have been my favorite one. But I decided to question family because I couldn't honestly remember. And they're saying that was the place where last year they automatically assumed you were high, and they had to talk them out of, the Narcan right away. And I was dragged out of the car, and there was all kinds of complaints after that, but none of that was on the record. So that was another thing that I think I finished a post just saying, don't trust the after visit summary. And a lot of people agreed on that. So do you guys have any input on, just what, how twisted the reality could be on a medical record?
Yes, because I was digging in my grandparents' basement the other day, and I actually found probably like 30 bottles of empty Depakote that I used to be prescribed. I didn't even know I was on Depakote, but
You think they kept it as evidence for you?
No, I keep all of my medication bottles because I just do. I don't know why. I have no idea why. I keep all of my medication bottles though.
I do it too, Lou.
Yeah, it takes up a lot of storage in the basement, but there's something, but I cannot throw it away. It's like, no, I'm gonna do something with this one day. I'm gonna build a home out of these bottles. Don't you worry. And they come in handy. So, if anyone wants to build a home out of medication bottles,
sounds more useful than keeping baby teeth.
Yeah, what?
I'll lend them to you.
Thank you. I kept my grandma's. I kept my grandma's medication bottles. I keep people's medication bottles just
hey,
because
it runs in the family that way, huh?
it's just something that I do. But I forgot what right. That's like when I was in Streamwood, somebody DM'd me and said that yeah.
I keep the ones that have medication in them that I don't want, but yeah, a lot of Capra in here.
I have a lot of ones that are probably not safe to ingest at all because they're from like 2020 or 2018. But anyways,
I do not
somebody's
want Capra in my system again.
Somebody's aunt died at a facility that I was at. That I have spoken openly about how they need to be shut down. And it's a mental health place, but it's not connected to a general hospital. It's specifically just a psychiatric hospital. And it's Streamwood Behavioral Health. And that's where they wouldn't give me my medication for my seizures. They wouldn't give me anything I was prescribed. They took me off of my Klonopin cold turkey. That's where they shoved me with 3 of the booty juice pens. And that's where I woke up in the hospital after having a grand mal seizure. After I told the psychiatrist I'm going to have a seizure. And I was on a 1-to-1 at that time because they kept saying that I was being defiant when really I was just like, you guys are treating me like shit and there's patients smearing their shit on the wall. But let me digress, right? And that's where my mom threatened them with a lawsuit. And while I was still on a 1-to-1, which is where you have somebody like following you around at all times to make sure that you're not doing anything to harm yourself or others, I was released, which you are not to be released while on a 1-to-1. That means you are still a risk to yourself and others. So it gives you no reason to be released. So that means that they were hiding something. They have things to hide. And somebody's aunt, I guess, just died at that hospital. And I'm sure it was because they were neglecting whatever physical medications she may need, because they're notorious for that. They are notorious for neglecting treating people with Medicaid because they automatically assume drug addict, or you're doing this for attention, or this, that, and the third, which then why are you a psychiatric hospital if you're going to neglect people coming in who have physical
Medicaid's
chronic
notorious for
illnesses?
denying claims from, with psychiatric
Yeah, and then you
derivatives as
look
well.
at the discharge plan, and I was never on a 1-to-1.
Right.
So they change things all the time. They do, many different hospitals do that for many different reasons, and it's why
Yeah, that's how I learned so much about insurance, though.
yeah, and I have a fear of going into the hospital now because I'm afraid that they won't give me my medication or something, or whatever. And the last thing, but if something happens in a hospital and I die in a mental hospital, you would see it on the news, because so would the psychiatrist. I would not go down without a fight. So
The last one I went to didn't even carry Briviac, and I was lucky that I brought all my medications with me, because I would have not had Briviac that day, and I would have, who knows? They
well, and
had
they
every
should,
other medication.
as a psychiatric hospital, you should know that you should also do your research into different medications that could cause severe psychiatric needs, like Keppra. And if a person is coming in who's on Keppra or Breviact, that should be carried there, even though that might be the source of the problem. That doesn't mean that you can just rip them off of it.
Yeah,
They're
definitely never
coming there
cold
for
turkey.
protection. They're coming there for help. They're coming there because they are a danger to themselves and others, and they can't just get off of the medication. So it's like, as a as a as a mental health facility, you should have that on hand. You should know that. That should be something that is not even questioned. And the fact that it is crazy. The fact that they didn't carry or didn't want to give me my Klonopin for my seizures is insane, because they were saying that I was a drug addict and that I was just doing it to get high. How am I going to get high on 0.5? At one point, they were having me take a 0.5 pill and split it in half and take that. And that's when I was like,
Yeah, that's what's confusing a lot of times about what they do with these prescriptions is they call something a Schedule 4. It's in that same category as, something you can take to get high, but definitely doesn't do that. That it only makes that classification because it causes such strong dependence so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still costs, influences the cost of the meds too. But anyway, back to the discussion. Everybody can contribute to let us know if the recovery time depends on the length of the seizure. So if you have a longer or worse seizure, does it take longer and is recovery a little more painful? How does it work for you guys?
I think, well, actually, I've never been able to know how long my seizures were, but sometimes I hear they were more violent than others, and then I need longer rest times. But I feel like I can rest better at home than the emergency room, to be honest. So loud and a lot of going on. I'd rather stay home after a seizure.
I generally feel crappy the entire next day.
Yeah, I can pretty much just rest at home. Give me some time, I'll be all right. Smoke a little bit, sleep a little bit, bounce back.
Yeah, I would say it depends on where I'm recovering is one thing. And I also never really know the times of my seizures or anything like that, or the severity, unless I had a concussion or hit my head or went down. But some take a few hours to recover from, and some take like a week or two to recover from. So, I don't know. And, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just different for everyone, or
Yeah, my
however it
shoulder,
affected your brain that time.
my shoulder's still getting back. I hear a lot of people say they have shoulder problems after seizures. Like I didn't even hit my shoulder, but it hurts. My doctor's going to send me to a chiropractor, so that's good. Um, but yeah, anybody going through that, the shoulder pain after a seizure, or is that just me?
Well, you heard this story before, but yeah, I dislocated my shoulder before, and yeah, I get pain from time to time.
I didn't even fall. I was laying down. But yeah.
You can dislocate your shoulder from seizures.
Yes.
Just for the jerking motion.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. No one saw it, but the way my mom described some of my seizures is my arm goes completely around, and I might have went like, because I was in my room at the time, I might have went under my bed and might have been restrained by my bed. So
Yes, that does make sense.
and this is,
Mine. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, this is why there's a reason why they say don't restrain people with epilepsy.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine, we took a closer look at the MRI, and it basically looks like my shoulder joint was put in a vise. And when I was describing what my seizures are like and what it was like when this happened, the orthopedic just looked at me and said, we only get one of these in a lifetime. And I said, you know what? I talk to friends twice a week, and I would say about 5% of us have had dislocations from the tonic portion of a tonic clonic seizure. because our muscles tighten so much, they can literally pull tendons off the bone. And that's part of what mine looks like. So, yeah, it's more gruesome than I thought, but it's from your muscles getting so tight. And then, yes, when you start the clonic, where you start moving again, and with the convulsive actions, those muscles are so tight they can tear, and or they can dislocate. You know, if they don't tear, they're going to pull the bones with it. And I'm like, okay, that's all I need to know. Thanks, but yeah. And I saw my orthopedic today, so it's like I'm just waiting for the surgery scheduler to call. But yeah, I definitely tore this one up. But it can happen. Yeah. I hope you never have it happen, though, to be honest. It
I
hurts.
broke an ankle.
But did you fall from the seizure?
Yes.
Yeah, see this. No, I was out on the bed and they were pumping me with Ativan and my joints were dislocating
Oh.
during a tonic-clonic seizure going into status epilepticus.
Oh.
So I still have trouble with my knees and my ankles. We're trying to get the ligaments back. I was pretty messed up from a couple of seizures in the last 5 years. But yeah, oh yeah, my body is falling apart. But I didn't know it could happen either until they started saying, this is probably from, muscle tension. And that type of muscle tension is rarely formed in life other than epileptic seizures.
Oh.
So, yeah, and to have an orthopedic say that, I'm like, yeah, that's quite likely because, yeah, that is what happened that day. But totally messed up my shoulder. But the rotator cuff is still good. We just have to do a couple tweaks. But yeah, it just tore the tendon right off the bone this
Ugh.
time. Ugh, yeah.
That's gotta hurt.
Thankfully, my hypermobility allows me to not rip anything apart. And although I'm sure it'll hurt in the future, I can pop my shoulders and knees and stuff out of their sockets on command already. So, that should
Is
be
that
good.
called double jointed?
Court.
Oh, my first seizure, I dislocated my shoulder, so I got initiated the best way possible. And ended up going to a physical therapist and everything. I had to do the bike thing, and I was like, "Oh, this shit's gonna suck." So yeah, it's like I get really sore. And I guess since we're talking about muscles, I don't want to get off topic, y'all. I'm sorry, but anybody struggle to weight lift? Because I used to lift weights and I get overwhelmed and I can kind of have I can start a seizure with weightlifting, and I'm trying to
Does a
figure.
spotter help?
Huh? You said what, Kate?
I was thinking, does a spotter help? So that way.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I was working out with my friend. Like we have a home gym. And so but I was going to the gym before we had it set up, and I was going with my friend, and I was like in the middle of an ab workout and I had a focal seizure. And she said she thought I was staring at somebody whose form was that. And I was like, no, girl, I was having a seizure. She was like, your face looked like you were pissed. And I'm like, why am I mad at someone else's form? And then we were leaving the gym one day, and my boyfriend and I were arguing, and he said he knew something was wrong because when I came back too, I was like, "What was happening?" He's like, "Oh yeah, you stopped arguing. I know something was awful with you." But anybody have seizures that start when you try to work out? Yeah, I'm sticking to yoga for now, but I miss like walking.
I do.
Well, I blame those because of the time of day, though. Those only happen because no matter what the workout was, if I did it a little too early, it seems like whether it was because I mean, obviously you start with the child pose and down, a lot of downward dogs, a lot of those in yoga had me thinking maybe it is just that. But then I went back to just like your basic kind of calisthenic, get the blood pumping first thing, those kind of exercises, wall sit, squats, like nothing that would mess with my head. And same thing happened when it was that time of day.
What time of day was it again, Kay? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
About 4 a.m.
4 a.m. Okay.
Yeah, between
That's
like
part
and
of
4 and 5.
Oh, sorry. That's part of the reason why I want to move Excupri, because if it is working for my focal seizures, what good is it doing when before I'm going to bed when I need it the most in the daytime? So that's why I'm like trying to move it up to see if there's a
Is that a capsule or a tablet? Like how does that one metabolize?
Excupri. It's a
Yeah.
It's big as hell too. It's so
Oh,
damn
okay.
big. The half life is like I said, 50 to 60 hours. And
Oh, okay.
so I swear it's big, y'all. I don't want to keep saying something big like this on cam, but it is huge. Well, let me switch the subject. But yes, it's people choke on it. Oh
It's okay. It's comments like that might make editing worth it.
It's no. It is a large pill to take.
Does anyone take all of their pills at once? I take all of my pills at once. Like it doesn't matter how many there are. I for some reason if I take them one at a time, it feels wrong even if I end up like choking on the pills. I just have to take it all at once. So I'm pretty sure my mix of pills would, I don't know if it, yeah.
Courtney, don't even stress. If you know that the shit that I said on here and the last hour that Pookie even posted, I'm watching it back thinking, no, I did not seriously go into that. I would, yeah, no.
I haven't
You got nothing to worry about.
watch any of them yet, just because it's been so chaotic on my end. But I am gonna try to watch them soon. But yes, I'm with you. If I take them all at once, because that's another thing I can confirm. Okay, you ruin things for me. I can confirm once it's down my throat.
Wait. All right. Anybody ever oxycarbazepine?
Is there a generic name of that?
That's yeah, I think that is the generic. I think that might be the Carbitrol.
I used to take it.
Trileptal.
Trileptal?
Trileptal.
Tripitol?
Oxycarbazepine is generic for Trileptal.
Trileptal.
Yeah.
I used to take it, but turns out I am allergic.
Okay, I'm assuming I was supposed to take this because I have it, but I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know I had this oxycarbazepine. Like, what's this for? This is for epilepsy, right? Nobody ever told me to take it. I don't even know when how long I had it. There's no date on the bottom.
What's the one that starts with a D? The
Dilantin.
Depakote. I'm allergic to Depakote and Lamictal. And the only reason I know that was because of the genetic DNA testing for them, which kind of helps when it comes to my epilepsy medications, because then I can be like, no, that doesn't work in my system, and that's more likely to work in my system.
The genetic testing thingy?
Yeah, I got that done for my mental health, for like mental health medications, and a lot of antidepressants and whatnot kind of cross over with anti-seizure medications. So they would give us like Depakote for mental health reasons, or Lamictal for mental health reasons. When it comes to benzos, obviously that would be for mental health reasons. But They cross over and you'd be surprised how many of them kind of cross over. Not like too many, but a good portion kind of do a little crossover episode where they're like, hey, I do this and that too. Which is how I knew the clonazepam worked. Hey, that's like the size of a Kepra.
Yeah, I also have this. They tried to give me this for the insomnia, but I could just deal with that. I don't mind staying up all night.
What is it, Pookie, they gave you?
Hydroxine, HCl, 25
Hydroxyzine?
yeah, 25
I hate
milligram tabs.
hydroxyzine. I hate hydroxyzine.
What's the brand name of it?
It's for
Userex is the brand name. This is the generic for Userex.
I don't know.
I don't
But
like
yeah,
that. But that's just me.
This is it's Copri's 200, and this is
Lamictal.
Lacosamide.
Yes.
This is a lot, but I know the shape.
That
So
is damn huge.
that is huge, right? Look at it's so
And
much.
I'm only on the 50 milligram one.
These are 500 milligram Kepra sitting around.
And I don't take the 200. I tried to take the 200 one night of the Excopri, and I was like, absolutely not.
I had a friend who puts it in water. He puts his Kepra, crushes it up and put it in water. He said it works the same.
Yeah,
I'd rather snort it.
Time.
That sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
That sounds taste buttily disgusting.
Lupa, that or olives? Which one? Would you choose your poison?
Oh my god, no. You would probably have a mixture, like with a little olive on a little thing in it, and be like, I'm taking my Excopri with my little olive in it, little tequila drop, little oil and vinegar. No, that's disgusting. Neither. My choice is
Try
neither.
the salad, oil, vinegar, and epilepsy pills. Maybe that should be my new product. Just come out with a new salad.
I'm not investing.
A seizure salad. Get it, y'all.
Okay, I'll invest in that if we're doing different types of salads. I'll invest in that. A seizure salad with we need to trademark that because we can make things with like vitamins and shit that people with epilepsy need. And this is the salad for you and your seizure.
Yes, we have. Who's taking one pill up in here? Really? Who is?
Right.
What was the question?
We'll do the Pirates logo.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.